Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I am glad you guys are here. First thing I want to do is thank Joe Isabella for the Be Up swag. Be Up. I want to thank all the channel members for being channel members. I appreciate you guys. And I want to thank all of you, anybody who's watching this, who comes in to watch my knife, my EDC content. If you like it, I hope you'll be so inclined to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon. It really helps me out. But enough of that. Today, I wanted to go through and pick 5 of my knives from my collection that I consider to be harder use. I've done slicey knives, I've done gentleman carry knives. I've done, I'm trying to come up with different ways to show knives that you guys might not have seen, that might be a little different. And I felt like going with some of my top 5. That would be the favorites in my collection because I've got cold steels that I love. But these are going to be my top 5 hard use working EDC knives. The Spartan Harsey 3 1/4 is definitely a hard use knife, but it's not going to be in this top 5. We're going to start out at number 5 with the Emerson Knives Mini A100. This will be the smallest EDC knife in this particular group of 5. Guys, this is a great little bruiser of a knife. It is a simple knife. It's what I call a knife. It's not very flashy. The flashiest thing about this knife is this Emerson pocket clip I bought off their website, but because it was a little wicked, had a skull on it. The other clip was fine, it just wasn't deep carry. This knife is G10, and it is a very textured G10. You can see some of my skin is even in the G10. And then you've got this nice spear point blade with this Scandi grind on one side, and just a grind, zero grind on the other side. So it is very, very interesting in how the grind is done on this knife. I've been able to touch it up. Let's see how well I did. It should be slicier, but I have gotten it slicey, but it is more of a bruiser type work knife than a slicer knife, right? It is a hard use knife. It is an absolute simple knife, right? It is a titanium liner. It is a, if I'm not mistaken, CPM 154. I think it's CPM 154 on the steel, but I don't know that for sure because I don't see it. Perfectly centered. It looks a little wonky because of the grind. You've got this thumb disc to open it. You've got this super thick blade stock that's really like a chisel. This knife would cut through wire. You could hammer it through wire. You could hammer it through just about anything. It is literally that tough. The A100, of course, is a full-size knife, but for me, this is every bit a medium to full-size, what I would consider a knife for an EDC carry. So coming in at number 5, oh, and I guess I forgot to mention, it's on the thumbnail, so maybe you guys knew, these are the 5 plus my honorable mention, hard-use USA-made knives from my collection. So all of these are USA-made. And I thought the blade steel was on this. Anywho, I think it's CPM 154. So moving on to number 4, in the robust EDC USA made knives in my collection, I could not leave out the Benchmade Mini Adamas. This knife is an absolute beast. It is in coated crew wear. This is the knife that fell on my finger when I was tuning it up. It fell like that on my pinky and cut through my fingernail, cut my fingertip off. It was the nastiest knife cut I've had. But anyway, this knife, guys, is an absolute beast. It's thick-bladed, but, I mean, sharper than shit. Very pokey. If I need to poke through cardboard, if I need to poke through wood, if I need to chisel it through wood or baton it, or feather stick a log to get a fire started, if I don't have a fixed blade to do the job, but I've got the Midi Adamas and the treated crew wear, I know I'm in fine shape. I know it'll get my jobs done. I love this knife. It has been improved on for me in that I added a deep carry clip and I added these applied weapons technology scales for the Midi Adamas. So that was kind of got rid of the speed holes that I wasn't a big fan of. But coming in at number 4 in my top 5 USA made hard use work knives, I could not leave out the Benchmade Midi Adamas. So moving on, we come to number 3. And number 3 is a fantastic knife. It's my thickest, I would say bestest, but that's not a word. It's my thickest, most robust Spyderco. The first knife I learned to reverse finger flick, so it has a very special place in my heart. It's got these gorgeous, sharp dressed, fat carbon fiber scales. This is an Cutlery Shop exclusive that was orange G10, and it's in CTS XHP. And if we think our last knife was slicey, the Shaman is also very, very slicey. Very pokey, has a nice drop pointy, spear pointy blade. It is a full-size knife with a very well integrated finger choil. It has got thick, robust blade stock. It would work as hard as you needed it to. It locks up like a bank vault because it utilizes Spyderco's compression lock. Try it left-handed. There it goes. In CTS XHP, this is a hard user, an EDC knife, very comfortable to carry. Would basically do everything I need it to do in my EDC on a hard use side of things, right? And keep in mind, guys, all my opinions and pontifications and thoughts are based on how I would hard use something if I had to hard use it. So I think all these fit into a hard use category, but I'm sure there are things that some of y'all do that these knives might not work hard use for if you're using it to pry off, like I know scotching things does, to cut a lot of metal straps and things like that. I'm just talking Javon, general hard use. I've got to do some feather sticking. I've got to baton something through some wood. I've got to do something outside of opening boxes. So number 3 is our Spyderco Shaman. And then we come to number 2. Number 2 is a thicker knife, but it still carries very, very well. It's a knife that I just love. It is a smaller Medford in length, but not in girth. It is the Medford Midi Marauder. So it's the same thickness as the full-size Marauder. It's just a little bit shorter. So for my hand, depending on where I grab it, and I always grab it at the choil, it fits fantastically well. 3.5 inch blade. They have this in drop point and Tanto. I picked up the Tanto because I have a slim Midi, the slimmer version that's a drop point, but you've got this nice hollow ground main cutting area, and then you've got this thick pry bar tip that will also slice. You've got these external stop pins. This knife, for as thick as it is an absolute worker. It is so basic in its construction, but so robust in its construction. I would put it up against almost anything. It is just an absolute banger. By the way, I've tested all these, even though I don't do spine whack tests on lock bars and frame locks. Sometimes I do on button locks, but I think of them as a knife, and I use common sense. It's a locking knife, so it's not a slip joint, but I don't look to hang from it upside down. But none of these fail any type of spine whack test. They lock up like vaults, and they cut like a dream. This is an S35VN. It's going to be able to pry. It's going to be able to cut through grain sacks. It's going to be able to cut through concrete sacks. It's going to be able to do hard work. And then the beauty of it is when you destroy the edge, you can sharpen it back to life. So that's the Medford Midi Marauder. It's coming in for me. This is the Tonto, made in USA, and it is coming in number 2 in my top 10 hard use made in the USA knives, which brings us to number 1. Keep in mind we are talking about hard use USA work knives, and I don't think there's anything, and I'll probably get a lot of hate comments for this, but that's okay. I'm thick-skinned. But this is the Hinderer 3-inch XM18 Spanto, which is the thicker Tanto type tip and a drop point, in S45 VN, working finish blade, battle bronze, lock side, stainless or stone washed hardware. And this knife fits my hand, fits my style, should I say, has great action, gives me several grip options, very robust blade stock with a very thick pointy tip, drop shut action. I've got a flipper tab, I've got thumb studs, I can reverse flick it. It's riding on skiff bearings now, but I could easily put in my Hinderer phosphorus bronze washers or run it on the Teflon washers. The tri-way system comes with all 3. I'm a bearing guy because I'm not getting a lot of dust or debris or crap in my knives. But guys, when I go camping, I always have this knife on my hip because it is so brutal. I think I got a chip. No, I don't. I just have a good cutter. Yeah, I do have something there. Hold on. Let me just refine that out. There's something there in the blade. But anyway, again, they're not the sliciest blade grind. That's an understatement. But in terms of being a work knife, and you can see how much grab that edge has, even though the cutting geometry doesn't back it up. It is good for what it's good for, which for me, it's starting fires, it's, you know, cutting wood, it's whittling, it's hacking, it's feather sticking if I need to, it's getting in, doing some light prying. It, again, like the Medford, is very simple construction. 2 slabs of titanium with a lock bar and a blade and some bearings, pivot and some hardware screws. So just an absolute, I think, perfect hard use knife for me. Again, I'm not the everyday hard use guy. I'm more of a low-key hard use guy. But these knives in my collection are in the USA made genre, we should say, are probably the top 5 hard use knives that I would go for should I be outfitting myself with hard use knives that are made in the USA. So guys, that is the Hinderer XM18, the Medford Midi Marauder, the Spyderco Shaman, the Benchmade Mini Adamas, and our Emerson Mini A100, and then we also can't forget our little Spartan 3¼ inch Harsey, which is nothing but a little banger. Great little hard use knife. But we went with 5, so that was our honorable mention number 6. Guys, I appreciate y'all checking out my knife, my EDC content. All I ask is please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. And remember, life is short. play hard, be kind, treat each other with respect, be open to learn stuff. I think that's always a good thing. You can be absolutely committed to your opinions, but just be open to other people's opinions. Again, you might not learn something that changes your mind, nor should it, but you might learn why people that you feel are different are actually different. And the only reason I went on that little impromptu rant was because I'm OCD and I wanted to try to straighten up and close the eyes. Guys, I love you all. Peace.